Guide to Soul. You were never too much. You just weren't held. Season 1, Episode 9. I can't give you the one time. I've looked. There isn't just one. And I think that's the whole point. It wasn't a moment. It was in the air that I breathed. I was too much. I was too loud. I was too out there. Too much personality. Too many opinions. Be softer. Be quieter. Be less. I learned the shape of myself by how many times I was told to make it smaller. So I did. I got quieter in rooms that wanted me quiet. I stopped raising hands. I let myself be half seen because fully seen never felt once safe. And I call it being good, being easy, the kind of girl that nobody leaves. And somewhere in all of that, I picked up a belief I carried for decades, that if I was too much, people left. That my bigness was the kind of thing that could cost you, someone that you loved. I won't tell you where I learned it. That part isn't mine to hand over. But I learned it young. I believed it all the way down, and I built a whole quiet life on top of it. Here's what took me most of my life to figure out. I was never too much. I was a lot, and a lot is not a flaw. A lot is a capacity. The problem was never how much I felt. The problem was that nobody ever taught me how to hold it. Nobody held it, so I learned to swallow it. You were never too much. You were unheld. Hi, it's Jennifer again. Welcome back to Guide to Soul. This is the podcast about coming back to yourself, to the parts of you that you set down along the way, because they were inconvenient or too much or didn't fit the story you were trying to live. And today, on the last episode of the season, I want to talk about the woman who's been told her whole life that she's been too much. The one who feels everything, who walks in a room and knows the temperature before anyone says a word, who's been called dramatic, intense, sensitive, a lot. Come here, sit down. I've been waiting the whole season to give you this one. The river and the flood are the same water, the same amount, the same force, the same wanting to move. The only difference between them is the banks. The river has somewhere to go. A flood doesn't. That's it. That's the whole difference. Nobody stands at the edge of a river and goes, "Hey, that river, that's too much water." The banks don't make the river smaller. They just give it direction, somewhere to go. With banks, all that force carves a canyon. Without it, it floods a town. You were never too much water. Nobody ever gave you banks. So it went everywhere. It flooded. It spilled into the room that couldn't hold it. And people in these rooms got wet. They told you you were the problem. You weren't the problem. Nobody had ever shown you where your banks were or how to hold them. So I want to say something about that word, too much, because we treat it like a description, like it's just true, like it's weather. It's not a description, it's a verdict. And here's the thing about a verdict. Somebody has to hand it down. Someone has to decide. And whoever decided you were too much, they weren't measuring the real you. They measured you against the size of the room they had, right? So a small room will call you too much just for being fully alive. That's not about you, that's about the room. It was a verdict from a room that was too small to hold you, and you carried it for decades, like a fact about your soul. It was never the fact, it was a room. So let's talk about where we're actually pointing at, the feeling, the sensitivity, the way you absorb a room. They call it a flaw. They told you to fix it, manage it, dial it down. Here is actually what happens. Your sensitivity isn't a leak, it's an antenna. You pick up what everyone else walks right past. You feel the things under the things. You hear what people don't say, and that's not a malfunction, that's a range. The thing that overwhelms you in a loud room is the same thing that lets you live and love all the way down. You don't get one without the other. You can't keep the depth and give back the intensity. They come together as a pair. They always have. They ask you to turn down one thing that wasn't that was also one of the best things about you. And for a while you did, right? So we all do this, I think. And I think you know what it cost you because we've spent all season tracing it. Remember where we started? You woke up and one day you realized you'd gone somewhere. You'd been missing and you didn't even know when you left. And that was the shrinking, right? That was you turning yourself down slowly, that you never even heard the volume drop. And your body kept the record. It always does. The jaw you hold, the breath you don't take all the way in, the things you swallow instead of saying. Your body has been keeping records and score every time you made yourself smaller to keep the peace. We talked about the boundaries you couldn't hold because holding a boundary means taking up space, and you'd been taught that taking up space was the original sin, right? And last week we found her, the you that you set down. We said you didn't lose her. You set her down because she was too much for the room you were in. Now, you know why you set her down. Somebody called her too much, and you believed it. So here's where the season has been going for the whole time. The work has never been to feel less. Hear me, it was never, not once, about feeling less. The work was to learn how to hold it. That's the important thing. Here's the thing about banks. When you're little, they were never yours to build. The kids can't hold all of that by themselves. She just can't. She needs someone bigger to sit with her while she's feeling the big things, to stay, not to flinch. That's what banks are. Someone holds you and holds you until one day you can hold yourself. Nobody did that for me, so I did whatever every kid does, I guess, when you have nobody who holds you. I didn't build banks. I got rid of the water. I made it myself smaller. So I never flood anyone in again. And that wasn't weakness. That was just a little girl solving an impossible problem and the only way she knew how. But shrinking was never the same as holding. Less of you isn't banks, it's just less of you. So whose job is it now? It's yours. And I know that that's not fair. None of it was ever your fault, but nobody's coming to hold the banks for you or the whole river for you anymore. That part's done. You're the little girl, and you're not that little girl anymore. You're standing at the edge of your own river, and you get to be the banks. Not smaller, held, yours. This was never about becoming quieter. It's about building banks. So all the water has somewhere to go. So you get to decide where it goes. So the same force that used to drown you starts to carry you. It starts to carve canyons instead. A lot held well is not too much. A lot held well is a force. So I'm not going to give you a big practice here. The real body of work, the release, that's coming. But I've got one thing for you. I just want you to do one thing. Find the word, the one that used to be used on you. You're too loud, you're too sensitive, too much, too needy, too dramatic. You know yours. You've worn it so long. You've got it now? Okay. Now say it back, but finish the sentence the way it was always supposed to end. I was never too loud. I was unheld. I was never too sensitive. I was unheld. I was never too much. I was unheld. Say it until your shoulders drop, and that drop in your body, that's you recognizing the truth. That's her hearing the real story for the first time. This is the end of the season, and I wanted to end it right here on this because everything else we did was building to this season, to this part of the season. All season I've been handing you things back. Your awareness, your boundaries, your body, her. And now I'm handing you back the one you've been apologizing for the longest. All of it, the feeling, the intensity, the depth, the too muchness. They tried to talk you out of it. It was never too much. It was more than anyone around you knew how to hold. So you're going to hold it now. You're going to be the banks. And then you're going to let yourself be the river. Again, the whole rushing force of you, going exactly where you pointed. I want you to walk out of here and be a lot on purpose. Take up room. Feel the whole thing. Love all the way down. Let them feel the temperature of you when you walk in a room. You were never too much. You were just waiting for someone to teach you how to hold all that you are. So consider yourself taught. Now go be the river. I'll meet you back here next season. Jennifer.